Mm-mm.
First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
And hello, everyone. This is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. As always, we appreciate you joining us. We are live streaming here out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, as we do every weekday, starting around 1 p.m., going throughout the afternoon, covering a wide range of topics. Today, we are talking about the Global Derby Championships, which are going to be here in town this weekend, 3 days, and teams from all over the world that are coming in, but they're coming here because of the Rose City Rollers, and that's who we're going to be talking to right now. Joining us, we have Loren Kaplan-Mutch and Rocket Mean from the Rose City Rollers. Thank you to both of you for joining us here. Really appreciate it. And obviously, you know, Rose City Rollers have been a staple of Portland for a long time. I've been to several matches myself. And to do that, though, to talk about this to begin with, I thought maybe it would be great to get a little bit of the history of the team and their place here in the city and in this region. And Rocket, I mean, there's no better person than you to talk about this. Would you mind just filling us in, you know, giving everybody a little bit of that backstory of the Rose City Rollers in case they don't know it?
Sure. So I have been here for 20 years. This started actually, 2004. It was me and a couple of friends at a punk show at Sabala's. And my friend Vet played drums and was really into the music scene. And then Jeffrey was part of Portland Organic Wrestling, and he also did like rock operas. And then I worked in advertising, but I also grew up at a roller rink. I worked at a roller rink from like 12 to like 19. And so Jeffrey was like, let's start a derby team. And I was like, yes. And Jeffrey was like, let's have fake fights and like, let's bring back like, the wrestling that was on Saturday nights in the 70s. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to tackle people on roller skates with my friends. And little did we know, we were all kind of looking for community. Because a lot of us that were drawn to it in the early days, we were starting out our careers and stuff like that. And we were like, we just need like fun things that we can do with friends. And Portland was like, '04 in Portland, there was so much fun stuff going on. You could live here really affordably. I think I worked like, at that point I was working full time, but like it was pretty affordable to live here. So you could have a lot of hobbies and you could go out and do fun things and all kinds of jazz like that. And so through my ties working in advertising, I just started calling up all the different media folks that I knew. And I was like, hey, I'm starting a derby team. And universally they all laughed and said, oh my gosh, what? And like the Mercury put my phone number on the back page for like 3 months and was like, want to play derby? And so people would just call me. And like we started talking with people, and our first big meetup, we had a meeting at Colonel Sumner's Park, and like, I don't know, upwards of 60 people showed up. I was like, wow, Portland is really like into this. So the interesting thing is when that was happening here in Portland, that was also happening in like 24 cities around the US. So there was already Texas and Arizona were playing derby, but Portland, we didn't know about them doing that. So it was really strange because the same kind of thing popped up all over the US. And derby was kind of born that year. In 2005 in the spring, a bunch of us met up in a hotel room in Chicago, and we formed the Women's Flat Track Derby Association. And that was kind of, the kickoff of a lot of stuff. In February of '06, we had the first modern roller derby tournament down in Tucson. And we all had a blast. Meanwhile, at home, we were growing the Rose City Rollers. We started our 4 home teams, the High Rollers, the Guns N' Rollers, the Breakneck Betties, and the Heartless Heathers. And those are still the 4 home teams that most people think about when they think about Rose City Rollers. So, we had a steady evolution of growth. We added a teenage team. We added a recreational team. We helped start up the team out in the Gorge. And then we started a 7 to 12-year-old team. Shortly after that, we won our first world title in 2015. Over the course of this also, we hosted nationals in 2008 when it was just a national organization. And then we hosted West Coast regionals in 2011 at the Coliseum. We hosted champs at the Coliseum in 2016. The funniest part about that is that my memory is not as great as it once was. And I keep being like, oh no, this is the way we did it in 2016. And my staff is like, no, that's not what the pictures tell us. And I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, it's been, like it's crazy. Like we're the biggest derby league in the world. At one point we topped out at like 550 skaters. Right now we're at around 420. We're hoping that, there's another kind of like boom where more folks want to join, especially, the kids, because they're the future. We had a draft on Saturday, and a third of the people that got drafted were teenagers who just became adults. So it's really fun to have watched, the evolution of Rose City Rollers. And we've had thousands and thousands of skaters at this point, and watching folks come through and kind of see themselves as an athlete for the first time. I mean, there's some people like Mutch. Like I remember watching Mutch skate as a teenager, and you looked at Mutch and you were like, dang, and that is a jock right there. And other folks come to derby and they've never played a sport, they've never seen themselves as an athlete, and derby is where they find that. Also they find the best friends of their life. So I'm pretty pro derby.
Yeah, there's so much that you just covered right there. But I mean, one of those I think that really stood out is just you starting off. You're like, hey, me and my friends are looking for something to do, and you kind of like a cherry pick, like the perfect of all kind of worlds. Bringing it together there and starting that off. But this growth, I love this idea that you got together in a hotel room somewhere, and put this together, this whole global. The league, I guess, the global side of it. But looking at it, from just the sport itself, from Rose City Rollers, what do you think it is about roller derby that is so attractive to so many people that they want to play it, that you've seen it grow this much, that you've had thousands of different skaters come through just Rose City Rollers alone?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. One, people look at other sports, like traditional sports like soccer and things like that, and they have a notion in their head of what level of skill you need to be at to play at a certain level, right? People don't have that with derby because it's so new. They go, oh, I can roller skate, I can do that. I think the other thing is, if you come to our matches at our hangar, you are like 6 feet away from the action. So I think that people come in and they watch derby for the first time. You can feel the energy in the room. You can feel like the fun that the skaters are having. And so I think it's really kind of infectious. So people go, I can roller skate, and that looks fun. And these people all look like they're having a blast together, even as they are knocking each other down. So I think that it's just really relatable.
Yeah, just relatable to people that are out there. And well, Loren, let's talk about you. As Rocket just mentioned, you were skating, you got into the organization. Now you're working for the organization. For you, what do you think it is that's this attraction that people have? People want to come and watch it. They want to come experience it. What is it about that?
I think that people fall in love with the community of roller derby. I think it's such a supportive and inclusive space that we've created that helps people thrive. And, you can get involved in so many different ways, not just as a skater. We have like so many ways that you can volunteer and just get involved. And so I think people just really, really fall in love with the community. And that's how I came to fall in love with the sport 17 years ago when I was a teenager, and I'm still in it today, and I'm playing this weekend. And so, yeah, I'm excited for that. And just like, I think just the fact that people from all over the world come together just for their love of the sport.
Yeah, and that's incredible. It's really over the last 2 decades that this has grown so much. And now, once again, here in Portland, we've got the Global Championships. So for everybody out there who wants to know more about this, can you explain what the Global Derby Championships are and what's going to be happening here in Portland?
Well, 13 teams from all over the world have qualified through regional qualifying tournaments to make it to this tournament. We'll be playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all day at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Here, Rose City Rollers, we have 4 world championships. So this weekend, we're going to be looking to bring home our 5th world championship. So we hope we can do that. So everyone show up and wear purple to support us.
I like that neither one of us are wearing purple.
I know.
Good job, us.
That's all right. That's for this weekend. So wear purple. That's something that people can do. And just in case, giving everybody a little idea here too, we've got some videos that just show a little bit of what this is like. And, the one thing that I'll say is It's intense. Well, I even said it right there. This is before I was even going to say it. Intense. That is definitely a word that describes roller derby when you get there. So when you're out there, skating and competing with that, what is it that brings out that intensity, and what's that feeling like for you?
I mean, I think, well, we're very competitive. So, we want, just that competitive drive, I think makes it really intense. But, we're going to obviously work really hard this weekend, but the games this weekend aren't the thing that is going to help us win. We've put in months and months of work at practice, and all of that work behind the scenes. I think we just hope to show this weekend. So I'm really excited to just show that off to everyone with my team.
Yeah, and competing against those teams from around the world too, who are going to be here. Could we go into that just a little bit to give everybody an idea of just how big this is, where these other teams are coming from?
Yeah, we've got 2 teams coming from France, 2 teams from Australia, a team from Sweden, team from Canada, and then all over the United States. So it's big.
Hey, Mucho, who do you think is our biggest competition this year?
I think our biggest competition is most likely arch rival from St. Louis. I just say that because they've given us our closest game in the past year. So that's why I say that. But we don't underestimate any team. Every team that we face, we're going to give them our best game.
Especially because most of these teams, I mean, if you think about the geographic location, like we host a tournament every year called Hometown Throwdown at our facility, and we'll get a lot of high ranking teams that'll fly in for that. And it's kind of hilarious because our facility can hold like 450 fans. And so it's pretty funny to host a huge tournament. But that still doesn't guarantee that we've played all the teams that we're going to be playing. And so it's really, it's really a crapshoot if we've played a team before. I mean, a lot of them we have, but it's going to be really interesting. Not to mention, this tournament hasn't happened since 2019. The last time it happened was in Montreal before COVID. So it's really exciting that we're all coming together. People are flying in from all over the world to celebrate Derby. It's going to be a blast. We're really looking forward to showcasing a lot about Portland. Like, we're bringing in the last regiment of syncopated drummers. The Unipiper is going to be there. We've got drag performers. We've got all kinds of fun stuff going on. There's going to be a vendor village there's, I think, 40 plus vendors coming in from all over the place. And community partners will be out there. So we're really trying to make it a pretty awesome experience for people. But yeah, like Mutch said, the Derby is going from 10 a.m. Is the first game on Friday, and the first game on Saturday. First game on Sunday is at 12. And then, we're running until like 9:30 at night. And so there's all kinds of great Derby. So, people can come in and, catch one of the evening games or come in for an entire day. But I mean, there's going to be fantastic games the entire way through because it is an elimination bracket tournament with a consolation round.
So yeah, this is going back to that word intense again. I'm sure that's going to be very much prevalent going through that since it's the championship. Yeah, first one since 2019. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, and like so the Sunday night game is the final game. So 6 p.m. Sunday, that is like Clash of the Titans. By that point, we've all already been through a couple of games to qualify to get into that game. So yeah, pretty excited about that. I mean, I haven't played in many, many years, but I still remember that feeling of your entire inside shaking right before the first whistle, right? But then you get into it and you're like, oh, you've got muscle memory. You're like, I know how to do this. But it's going to be awesome.
And I think another thing that you just mentioned too, like going back to that sense of community, is having all of those different partners in there. I mean, and showing people coming from around the world, some of Portland, you have to have Unipiper there, and you have to have the syncopated drummers and the vendors all involved in it, and just bringing everybody in for this celebration of Derby, but also what the Rose City Rollers have done and accomplished, and hopefully beating some other people from around the world, which is great. Welcome to Portland.
Yeah. On Saturday night, we're really hoping that we are in the Saturday night at 6 p.m. game, and we've built that as like a headliner game for Portlanders. And so that's a semifinals game, and that game should be awesome. So if people are looking for one thing to come to, Saturday night, 6 o'clock, Sunday at 6 o'clock, fantastic games.
And what's the best place for them to go to find out more information about all of this?
RoseCityRollers.com.
There we go, RoseCityRollers.com. Well, Loren, Rocket, thank you both for having time to talk to me here, and congratulations just on everything that you've achieved over these years, and obviously making such a difference for so many people who have gone through it, who have been a part of it, who are with it now. And Loren, go win this weekend and bring the championship home. And thanks to both of you for being here on Fox 12 Now. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you so much.
Thanks for
You
having
bet.
us.
And for everybody watching, again, this is Fox 12 Now. We're live streaming here out of the newsroom. We have longer form content here. We can have longer interviews. We can go a little bit deeper than, maybe some shorter news segments. You can always watch these on the Fox 12 Oregon app or on YouTube or KPTV.com. Click on the Fox 12 Now tab. We go throughout the afternoon, but we'll take a break for right now. We're going to regroup. I will talk to you in about 10 minutes or so. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.